Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you wondering why it's me as a host in the Be Your Own Boss podcast? Well, that's because today is the 100th episode, and today we have a very special guest who's taking the hot seat. Any guesses? Well, he's a very dear friend that I've known for more than 4 years now, a data analyst by profession, and a true leader that I've known who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Mastermind behind this show, where we have heard 99 different stories from him. So today is going to be a very special one where I'm going to be hosting it, and the guest is none other than Sachin Acharya, and it's time to hear his story today. So, Sachin, here we are, 100th episode, the milestone episode. What an epic journey it's been, right? So, you've shared so many stories in Be Your Own Boss with so many views, like 1 million views. How do you feel about it?
Well, we're finally doing it, 100th episode.
I know.
Oh my God. The top feeling that I have when I think about 100 episodes is gratitude. Like, it's all thanks to the people, right? Like, people who are watching this, people who have supported in the journey. You, for providing the studio.
I think I'm known for this now. Oh, you are the one who is giving a podcast studio to Sachin.
Yeah. So people love the quality of the views have the visuals have increased. So I'm really thankful to all the people. So I don't think I could have done it without
Obviously,
without
it's a
the
teamwork.
support. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so, you know what, one of the main thing that, I'm sure, like audience, I am very curious to know. You would have set a vision or a goal when you started this channel, right? And naming it Be Your Own Boss and deciding to bring so many entrepreneurs into the channel. Did you, standing here, when we are recording this 100th episode, what do you think? Like, do you think you have accomplished your goal, or it's in the process? Where do you see it is right now?
Good question. Actually, when I started, I didn't set a number as a goal. I never do. Like, even in general in life, right? I don't set like, I want to reach this, I want to make my $1 billion or something, I don't set that number as a goal. The goal is more in terms of the value that I want to bring to the table, what I want to do for the audience, right? And the way it all started, how Be Your Own Boss podcast started, I was thinking about like starting a business. What does it take to start a business? And I just heard like a couple of my friends who started a business, and I was thinking that what are they doing differently than other people, that they are like starting a business, and they're entrepreneurs, and I was thinking, if I ask one person, I might get just that one answer, his story.
Yeah.
If I ask maybe 2-3 people, I might get like a few 2-3 other views about it. But if I be more structured about it, if I go and ask a lot of people the same question, how did you start?
Correct.
Right? This was my primary question first.
Okay.
How did you become what you've become today?
Yeah.
And
the mantra, the so-called formula, right?
Formula. What's your formula? What's the path that you've taken? How did you do that? And because a lot of people who are in a job want to do what entrepreneurs have done, right? They've transitioned, so they want to transition. So then I said, if I be structured about it, if I go and interview a lot of people, then I'll get that proper answer, and I have to record it so that I can collect some information about
Correct.
it, right? So and I said, if I record it, might as well share it with the people, because there will be a lot of other people like me, and that's how the whole thing started.
Okay.
And Jensen was the first guest on my show.
I remember that. I think you started with TGIS. I remember it was Jensen. Then I think it was Feroz.
Yeah, Saira.
Yeah. There was a lot of people.
So then, and back then I was only doing audio. So I was just like recording the whole conversation. And then
I think it was, 2 years back you started, right? Yeah. And I think that time podcast was mainly in the audio format, and which eventually turned out to be both visual and audio, right?
Yeah. So it was like that feedback from people, right? People said that audio is good, but then people are watching on YouTube now, so you should do video, and then gradually it grew from there. But my initial the idea was to bring entrepreneurship stories, real life entrepreneur stories to the world, right? To bring those stories to the world, and things have evolved.
Correct.
Okay, I did not think that right at the beginning. I did not think that I will actually add value to the entrepreneur by highlighting their story to the world.
Yeah.
I was more of thinking like, hey, you've done it. Tell me how you've done it, right? So, but then when I started doing this, and when the people started coming in, with the views and everything, then I realized that yes, they're also like it's a win-win-win.
Correct.
Right? People are also getting, the audience are getting the value, and the people are getting the view, the visibility.
Yeah.
So it evolved from there.
Yeah. Obviously, I think podcast is becoming one of the marketing tool as it is right now, and entrepreneurs coming over here, reflecting back into their life, their journeys, and sharing it. I think it's like you said, it's a win-win situation. But you know what I find, and it's been truly inspiring for me, and I'm sure for everyone who knows you, how do you manage to be consistent in releasing the episode on time? Now that we've been shooting together, like I know that you bring in so many guests in a week, and you have a very structured way of releasing the episodes on time, and I know how you have a job and yet you do this. What is the secret behind your consistency and your determination?
Well, consistency is something that I learned about even before I started. Like when I thought about the whole thing, right? And I said, I'm going to start a podcast. I had this plan that I will shoot a few episodes first, keep an episode bank, and then release, because I want to be consistent. So this is one thing that like I had it in mind right from the beginning, that I want to be consistently posting every week a new video.
Okay.
Now the question was like, how do we do that, right? So my secret, it's an open thing, is about.
But it's $1 million question, okay? I'm telling you, everybody wants to know this.
Yeah. So it's about preparation. It's about the planning part, right? So the process, there is a process to it. There's a pipeline. So I have conversations with a lot of entrepreneurs at all the time, trying to bring more guests into this. So that's the part one of the pipeline, okay, the flow. Then I interview them. I interview do a lot of interviews, come here, do these interviews, keep these, and then the team starts working on them. So there is a bank, right? So, and then we once the episodes are released, then there are the reels are there. So I make the reels and then keep posting the reels. Now, there are certain things that technically it is possible. It makes it technology makes it easier for us so that we can schedule it. Right? You post a video on YouTube, you can schedule it for the Saturday release, which is what we do in advance.
Okay.
But practically, what happens is on a Saturday. So tomorrow morning I have to release a video. Today is a Friday, okay, as we are sitting here. Tomorrow morning, the next episode that is going to be released, okay, I need to, after this, I need to go home and work on that.
Correct.
Because there is there are like last moment changes and things like that I need to make, and I have to make sure that no matter what time it is of the night, I have to upload it, because there is a deadline I cannot miss.
And that deadline is from here.
From here, yes.
And that's what I call a true passion, because unless you're very passionate from here, unless you really want to do it and make a difference to the world, I don't think so. I think consistency comes from the passion, right?
It does.
And I think because shooting a podcast, getting the people on the channel, and I think the toughest part is editing it. The way that you want, and then uploading it on the YouTube, scheduling it. It's a tough process, but I don't think you see these are the hurdles. You just want to just do it. Like Saturday, it has to go, means it has to go.
Yeah.
So what are the main
It's like raising a child, right?
Yeah.
You know that it is difficult,
I
but
know.
then it's like your passion that keeps you up there, and 2 o'clock in the night you're still so that's the passion. But also there is apart from the weekly this ones, right? There is a daily reels. That is more, I think, more challenging. It's like, you know, the duck that floats on the water. People think that, oh, the duck is just so smoothly. Every morning, 7 o'clock,
I
Sachin's
know.
video comes.
That's
right?
what nobody knows
But
anything.
under the water, that before that 7 o'clock, the work that I do is I have to consistently post every day. So there are places where I cannot schedule it. So for example, on sharing on WhatsApp, okay,
You have to do it.
I have to do it manually. And there are certain things like Insta, there are on certain pages. So I have to do all that manually. So I have like a regular routine. Now the challenge is you have to do it every single day of your life. You know? No matter where you are, no matter what health condition you are in, right? So I remember, like, when I was traveling, I was in I was in the US, and it's like 10 o'clock at night in the US, and I'm calculating what time is it, 7 o'clock, when is it 7 o'clock in Dubai, that I need to post it here, and then 7 o'clock, at 10 o'clock at night, I'm posting the video for this one, because I know it is 7 o'clock in Dubai there. So then consistently, keeps posting. So that's the process.
That is one takeaway. I mean, for not only for us who has a podcast studio, because for us it's not a matter of uploading, but it's a matter of giving the content on time, because this is what it takes to, I mean, all the effort has to go in there. People has to watch it, right? Yeah. So you said you've got so many people, like, you're interviewing so many people. You've come across many different kind of stories. I'm sure it has inspired you, like, no doubt about it. But how do you feel, like, listening to so many stories? Like, how has it inspired you or probably shaped up your life? Has it, or you are still, like, you listen to it and then you're still thinking, like, okay, it's going to make a difference, but I'm sure it's made some difference in your life as well, right?
It has definitely. Like, every interview, every episode, when I sit and talk to the entrepreneurs and listen to their stories, right, it moves me.
Right.
Yeah, every story. Because every entrepreneur has gone through a lot of struggles to reach where they are, right? Where they've reached today. And that inspires me. And also, practically speaking, like, very, like when I'm facing a particular situation in life in general, right? I think about it, and then suddenly an episode, some interview, somebody said something that flashes to my mind, and I said, okay, you know what? He could manage it, or she could do that, so then I can also do that. And then there's that inspiration. It comes from that, from the stories.
Yeah, amazing. So I guess as listeners, even when some days we wake up and you think, why am I doing this? What am I doing? Am I doing it the right way? And then all these stories come back as like you said, as flashbacks, and then it kind of reminds you, okay, he or she can do it, then why not I? I mean, it will stay motivating and I think inspirational for all the listeners. I'm sure it's for you as well, right?
Yeah.
So, has there been any moment where you felt, oh my God, I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have got this experience if it was not for the Be Your Own Boss channel? Is there any moments like that you faced?
I think more than a moment, it is more of like the people, like it's the big picture, right? The contacts, the friends that I have made. I feel like, first of all thanks to Toastmasters, that Toastmasters opened the door for me with so many people, right? Like so many friends we got. And then the podcast. There are so many guests who have then gone back, and after coming on my show, then they go back and tell me, they introduce me to other people, and then say you should interview this person and that person, and then they become. And then this has opened the door for me to meet so many amazing people. There's this one lady, Lisa Pavlakos. She's in Australia. Okay, and she's a Malaysian based in Australia, and she has a very inspiring story, and she's a like a TED Talk speaker, and she's a keynote speaker. So I feel like I would have never known her had it not be for the for the podcast. She was on my show and she shared her story, and I was so moved by her story. You should check out her episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like, awe moments, and you have more like aha moments. But you know what? I think, hearing all of this, I'm I'm sure all the listeners are too. Like 100th episode, I want to make it as your story.
Okay.
So Sachin, we all know about the Be Your Own Boss channel. You've actually become very famous because everybody, oh yeah, I know Sachin. He records from your studio. Yes, yeah, he records with me. I have heard that a lot. But keeping that aside, you as a person, how did your life begin? Like, in your 20s, in terms of your career, in terms of relationship, whatever it is, like, how did your life begin? I'm sure everybody wants to know this in this 100th episode.
Yeah, I think there is a story behind every entrepreneur, and there is a story behind me as well. There are several different episodes of my story, but let's talk about the career part, right? I finished my 12th, grade 12, and when I finished my 12th, at that time I was already working, as in alongside we used to call it junior college. I mean, in Mumbai, after 11th and 12th is called junior college, and then you go to college for graduation and all that. So way before that, way from grade 7, I was already working on my own, on the side, doing odd jobs and all. And so my financial condition was not so good, like our family. So grade 12, after 12th, I didn't have the money to go to college. I topped my college, by the way, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I topped my college, and I had never come first in my school and all, never. And the first time I got the first rank, I got the highest mark. That was a big achievement. Yeah. But then I didn't have the money to study after that. I didn't, to go to college. And I said, I have now two choices. I have to start working, or I have to go and, study. And I said, okay, I cannot afford to go and study. So I'll just start working.
Okay.
So I started working. Now, as a 12th pass, nobody is going to give you a manager's job or anything. I started as an office boy.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that was my first. I was working in a garment factory as an office boy, and I was curious to learn. Okay, and I always looked forward to this one bright day when things will be all good, and I'll be a big man one day, right? That aspiration was always there, and I am still working towards it. I haven't reached there yet.
Chasing the dreams.
From
the beginning.
Yeah. And in my office, in that company, there was this computer operator who used to his job was to do type things on the computer, and there was just this one computer. Okay, so he would print things, and I would take it to the manager. The manager would see. I would take it back to him, and he would type. And I saw that he types things on the computer. I said, sir, I'll make you coffee. And I used to make coffee and bring him. And I used to say, sir, you sit and, enjoy your coffee. I'll do your work. And he used to tell me what to do. I used to do the work. For him, his work was getting done. For me, I was getting access to a new thing which I can learn. And that's how I could figure out what is what, and try and then from there because now that I can type things into a computer, I took a data entry job after that. So I became a data entry operator. I said,
from office boy to data entry, and it's a huge leap.
Yeah. Actually, that journey in that company, I was working for 3 years, and I did other things in that company. But then after that 3 years, when I left that company, I took up a new job. And something happened in between as well. That's another story.
Okay, yeah.
But so when I took up this, when I started working, I took up as a data entry job, and then from data entry, then I slowly grew from there, and got into customer service, and then to technical service, technical support. So everything at every point, I would just see what is there and learn new things. Right now also, what am I doing? I'm learning how to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Right? I'm learning about entrepreneurship.
Correct.
right? Keeps you like helps you
Yeah.
grow by just keep learning all the
I
time.
think for you, the actual definition of learning never ends. You actually put it in practical. Like every day, you really want to like learn something new,
Learn
right?
something
So,
new, yeah.
and then what happened after that?
After that, then I like from customer service, then I went into technical support, then I
Wow.
went into leadership, like I
With the
and
same company?
no, in different companies.
different
like yeah, I
companies.
kept like changing different jobs. I used to go and search for jobs, and I used to say, so when I was a data entry operator, I used to see the people who were in customer service, they used to wear nice clothes. They used to talk English and speak English, and they were like, oh, they all polished people, right?
Oh.
And I used to think, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to be like them? And then they said, okay. I mean, I found out, asked people. They said that is call center. You have to, you have to speak. I started going applying for interviews for call centers. I didn't get any job because my English was not good. Then I used to like, okay, tech support or like chat support, where I don't have to talk to people. I can just do chat support. Then kept trying for call centers, got into call center. I used to do like technical support for Microsoft. I was working,
Wow.
yeah. So like night shifts working, supporting.
And this was in a span of how many years?
This
All this like from office boy to tech support for Microsoft.
about 7 years. So it's
Wow.
like it's a one step at a time journey.
One amazing career journey that you've had. Have you ever felt that you need to okay, this is enough? I mean, I'm very happy with what I'm doing right now. This is it. Like, have you ever felt like that?
No.
No,
Even
right?
now I don't.
Even now you don't.
Yeah. I feel like no. This is. I mean, I can't stop and say, oh yeah, I have reached. I've climbed enough. No. The peak is up there. I have to keep going. I have to like keep my eyes there and keep focused on that and keep growing. Yeah.
So, like, do you have anything like where you've had a like life-changing incident that has changed your life completely, like in your lifetime?
So you see, a couple of things I want to talk about. Okay, one, a particular year. Okay, there was this one year. We all go through bad times, right? There are times when like everything is falling apart, everything is going wrong. Okay?
I have gone through that.
You've gone through that. We all have gone through that. Bad times, let's call them, right? And the thing is, what my thought process was during those bad times and how I came out of it, that actually is like, that's what we can see in this one. So this year, the year started with an accident.
Oh my God.
I met with an accident.
Where was this?
This was in Mumbai.
Okay.
A major accident. Both my feet were crushed under a truck. Yeah. And the doctor said the only way is to amputate the legs, I mean the feet, and I could have never walked. Okay?
Really?
Yeah. Because both my feet were under the truck, and the truck was like, filled with like wet sand. So it was super heavy. It was all crushed. Luckily, I survived. Okay. I remember very clearly that moment when, so I was on a bike, and there was a truck behind me, and there was a car on my left, and the car hit me, and I lost the balance, and the bike went flying. And my wife was with me. She fell on the other side. Luckily, there were no cars, so she quickly got up and reached the footpath in the center, the divider. And I went under the truck. There was a truck behind me. I went under the truck. Now, as I'm rolling on the road, okay, falling there, I'm thinking that, oh, I'm going under the truck, but I have heard stories of people who have survived after lying down straight under a train, right? People have survived like that, because the train can pass over you if you're lying flat on the in the middle of the tracks. I said, I'm going to lie down flat here, and the truck will pass, and I will survive. That was my thought process at that time.
How did that kind of a thought come to your mind at that point? Like, because I guess, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking, because at that point of time, you don't know what's happening to you.
Yeah.
So,
I think the most natural reaction would have been like, oh no, or oh shit, this shouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
Right? I think it was somewhere deep down, there is this like deep optimism that I have,
Amazing.
that the future will always be brighter than today. It'll always be better. I will survive from this. I will come out of this. There was this confidence, but I was still in motion because I was like, because of the impact and everything. And the truck driver realized that somebody has gone under the truck, and he stopped. The moment he stopped, by the time he stopped, both my feet were under the tire, the rear tire of the truck. So, and he stopped right there. So like the whole weight of the truck was on me. And then people came, and I said, okay, I'm alive. Just tell the truck to just go reverse a little bit. I'll pull out my legs from here.
Where is the pain here?
It was there. It was like, the moment I removed my legs from
logically. You just tell the truck driver to pull the...
Yeah.
That's amazing.
When I saw my feet, I was like, damn, this is super damaged. I was completely just hanging like that. And I don't want to make it really gross for the people. So they took me to the hospital, and somehow that day, my luck, the anesthetist who for the surgery, right? You need an anesthetist. The anesthetist only came at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this happened around 8 in the morning. So all those 7-8 hours, okay, I was in pain, and they couldn't take me into the surgery. Okay, and then I just kept saying that I want to walk. I want to I want this to be all right. I will walk. I will walk. I will walk. And so much so that when they gave me the anesthesia and I was taken into the surgery, the doctor says that I was still mumbling. I was still saying, I want to walk. I want to walk. And the doctor, for him, it was a clear case of amputation. He had to just amputate the legs, but he said that I couldn't do it. So he said he took the chance, and he cleansed, and he operated a couple of times on me and did some skin grafting and stuff like that. And a few months later, I was able to walk.
Few months, right?
Yeah, a few months later. It was and I still remember the day when I stood on my own.
My God.
Okay, after the whole thing, I was at home, lying, and I was watching an interview. Okay, there again, it was like a podcast, right? Interview of Simi Garewal was interviewing Sanjay Khan. Sanjay Khan of Tipu Sultan. So Sanjay Khan was telling about his story of how there was an accident during the shooting of Tipu Sultan where he was burnt, and he was he was saying how he was lying in a pool of blood and pus, and how he came out of that. When I saw his interview, I said, he came out of it, so will I.
Yeah. See, I'm sure this is the same impact of all the listeners of BYOB.
Of the listeners now, yeah. That day, that moment, while the interview is still going on, I held there was the crutches, okay, so I held that, I stood up, and I left the crutches. And I stood there for good 5 seconds or so, and then I fell after that. I fell down, and then I said, okay, I'll keep trying, keep walking. After that, then, climbing up down the stairs and things like that. So gradually, I came out of that.
Getting back to and walking back from where you thought that it's not going to be possible, I think you would have definitely had this feeling if I have gone through this, I can go through anything in life, right? Yeah.
That confidence comes there. It kind of reinsures you that that's a person you are. You're a winner. You can face situations, come out of it. Because this happened actually before this incident happened and all, right? There were other things. Lot of tough times, lot of bad things had happened already by then, and I had already seen really worse days, right? And so I was counting my blessings, and I was thinking okay, my legs don't work now, but I'm sitting in my own house. This is I own this house where I'm sitting, right? I come from a place where we didn't have our own place. We used to always stay on rent and keep moving, and now I own this house. So I was okay, this is, the problems are there. There'll always be downs in life. There will always be downfalls. But these downfalls are the graph of a stock market where, the ups and downs are there, but then the downs are higher than the previous downs and the ups are higher than the previous ups.
Correct. The curve goes
up.
Up.
Yeah. You keep growing. Your problems are better problems than before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time you learn how to face
Yeah.
as the problems get bigger, but the
You
stronger
learn
you get.
new things. You learn to solve new problems, new challenges. You keep learning. Then it always grows. You always that's kind of my way of looking at life. That
And I
want
think
to,
that's
yeah.
really good, because to stay optimistic is definitely not a joke. I mean, especially when you're an entrepreneur, especially when the life throws, stones at you all the time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very difficult to stay optimistic, but there's always positive results out of it
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
optimistic too, right?
What we have to always remember is like there is a better future, there is a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And keep working towards that one bright day when everything will be great. And that bright day is like always in the future.
Always
Keep
there.
working towards it.
Yeah, amazing, man. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps listening to this. First of all, I don't think I've ever seen this side of or heard about this. But there's one thing that I've heard. Some of my friends, like we both are from Toastmasters fraternity.
Yeah.
So some of them have told me that hey, have you heard of Sachin's Kolkata story? Now that I'm listening to all of this, I'm very curious. I want to hear from you. What is this famous Kolkata story all
Kolkata
about?
story, yeah. I was telling you, like, I was working for this company for 3 years, and then there was something happened in between, and then I worked as a data entry operator. What happened in between was this. In those 3 years, I had grown in this company, and I was working there, and I was traveling around. Okay, in India, so I was in the south at that time. I was in Chennai when the whole things started falling apart. Okay, and so there was a family situation, and my father had like some financial crisis, and he had taken a lot of money from a lot of people. He owed a lot of money to a lot of people, and he had collapsed. And so I came back, and the situation was such that people would come to our house and threaten us and ask us for money, and we had no money to give them. Okay, and so one day from the railway station, I was walking towards my house, and it was like late in the night, and I was grabbed into an auto rickshaw.
Grabbed into?
Yeah, like
Somebody
auto rickshaw,
pulled you
just
into?
pulled me into the auto rickshaw.
Okay.
They took me. These were people who we owed money to.
Okay.
So they thought that if they can catch me and like they can get money, kidnap me, right? They would. They took me to an under construction building, and they tied me there and they bet me. Okay, and for a long time they were hitting me, and I was telling them that,
like hitting you as in like
physically
blowing
like,
you up?
Yeah, literally, like I was bleeding.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
So
how old were you? Like in your early
I was
20s,
in my
mid-20s?
20, early 20s, yeah. So, and they were telling me to call my brother, okay, and ask him to bring money. That I said, look, first of all, we don't even have like phone at home. Forget calling and all like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we don't have the money. Like you can kill me here. And but what actually happened was, like, by about 3-4 in the morning, okay,
So
they were tired.
You were held captive.
They
early
had tied
morning.
me there on a chair,
Oh my God.
and they were like hitting me, and like randomly, then somebody else would come and somebody else would hit, and I'm like just sitting there getting beaten up by people, okay, and after about like in the early morning hours, and they were all just standing there and smoking and all, and I just called them, and I said, before I called them, the thought that was going in my head was, this is the lowest moment of my life. I'm not going to let it go any lower than this. I'm going to rise from here, and I'm going to grow. I'm going to be like, I'm going to go out there and shine and grow and be a big man. I just have to get out from here now. This is it. I can't let it go any lower than this. And I called them and I said, look, if you let me go, I will earn and I will return the money. If you keep me here, you beat me, it'll be morning very soon now, and people will come. You'll have to let me go. Otherwise, you'll have to either kill me, and even if you kill me, you're not going to get the money back, because we just don't have the money, right? So the only way for you to get your money is to let me go. They were also like, okay, fine. They understood, like, if he's getting so much and not giving, that means that he doesn't have the money. They let me go. I came home, but I had different plans in my mind. I was thinking,
Like on the way home.
on the way home, I was thinking, enough of this. I'm going to leave all this. I'm going to go to a different city, start a new life. I want to start my life with a blank slate. So I decided that I will run away from the house, run away from all these problems, and I went to Kolkata. So I decided to go to Kolkata just because I thought I have not heard of any family, friend, or relative, or anybody from Kolkata. Nobody knows us there. Like anybody else, like anywhere else.
You don't have anyone there?
Nobody there. I don't have anybody there.
Okay.
Because I was thinking, like, if I go to any city, Delhi, of course, there are a lot of people who may know me there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to a place where nobody knows me. So I decided Kolkata. Now, I had no idea that trains don't go to Kolkata, or at least back then. Okay, I don't know about now.
You just wanted to.
I didn't know anything. I just went there to the CST station, and at the ticket counter, and I said I want a ticket to Kolkata.
But what about all those blood stains and
it was like
you just
fine.
wanted
I was
to-
just I was wounded, but I wasn't like completely down.
you just wanted to like.
I just wanted to get out of there.
Get out of this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went there, and they told me Kolkata trains don't go to Kolkata. Trains go to Howrah. I said, okay, Howrah, yeah.
Howrah.
Yeah.
Howrah is a part of
Howrah
Kolkata.
is the twin city, like Dubai, Sharjah. So Howrah is the twin city from Kolkata. The Howrah Bridge, right? Like the famous Howrah Bridge is the bridge that connects Howrah to Kolkata. And so the trains go to Howrah, and Howrah Junction is the last station, it seems. So I said, okay, I'll go to Howrah. Yeah, I took the ticket, and it was a 2 days journey. I stayed in the train hoping that nobody that I know notices me, and I was planning how my life is going to be in the new place that I'm going. Okay,
But you have no idea about the place.
no idea about the place.
Wow.
I have a bag. I had taken a bag of like few clothes, like just two, three jodi clothes, and that's it. And I said I decided that I'll change my name. Okay, so I went there, and I decided my name. I will call myself Rahul Gaikwad.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
I gave myself a new name.
This is getting really interesting now.
Yeah, so I went to Kolkata. So Howrah, got down from the station. It was evening time. The first thing I did, I found a hair salon. I went and shaved my head, complete bald. I said, so that people should not
Completely
recognize
different
me.
avatar.
Yeah, avatar, right? Different. Yeah. So I went there, and then from there I took a city bus. Okay, I had no idea about the names of the places or where I'm supposed to go or anything. I just got into the city bus, and then after a couple of stops, I just got down. Okay, and I saw there is a lane in front of me. I started walking into that lane. No idea. Life is blank in front of me, and I'm like, I'm here to write my life here, my story here in this city.
Nice.
With the bag in my hand, I kept walking down that street. And after a certain point, I stopped. I saw there were some people. They were preparing for some function that was coming up there, like some festival or something. There was a group of people. I said, this is my chance. So sat there for some time, and then I went and spoke to them, and I told them a story. I lied to them. I said, I've come from Tamil Nadu. My name is Rahul Gaikwad, and I have lost my family in a fire accident, and I don't have anybody, so I've come here looking for a job. So if you could please help me.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you can stay here with us. We are all staying in this. They had this pandal, right? Like the thing that they do for the festival, like a tent. So they said, we are all staying in this tent. You can stay with us here. And I stayed with them. They introduced me to other people around that. I started, knowing some people there, and started one person said, I'll take you to my company, and we'll try and get you a job. I went there, did an interview, got a job. While we were walking back from that company, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is it. Now my life is getting started here.
Yeah,
right?
you got a job.
I have a job. I can
Similar
settle
to
down here.
what you've been doing.
Yeah, that's when the reality hit me. I realized the mistake that I'm making. I said, I'm running away from my problems. I'm leaving my family behind, my brother, my sister, my father. and I'm running away from all this. And that was like a sealing moment, right? Like a final thing. Like, yes, I've got the job. I'm going to stay here now. Then at that time, I realized this is wrong. And I have to correct this wrong. What do I do? I told all my friends, I said, I want to go back.
Okay, from Kolkata.
Yeah. I said, I'm not feeling right. I want to go back. They all told me, no, you're getting a job. Why are you going back? And everything. I said, no, I want to go back. And now I had told them that I've come from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
So they all contributed money. They bought a ticket for me to Chennai. And they put me in a train to Chennai. I'm like, they all come to the station, standing there, sending me to Chennai now. And I'm thinking, the train to Mumbai was right across the other platform. The train is there. The Mumbai train is there. I'm like, if I run, I can catch that train.
How do I run without all these people?
All these people sitting and sending me off to Chennai from here. But then I went to Chennai, and since I had worked there already before, I knew some people there, and I contacted my friends, and then they helped me to get back to Mumbai. Came back to Mumbai. My family, they had already thought that I'm dead, because I was gone for, I think, a week or 10 days. So they thought I must have died somewhere. But they were very happy to see me alive, and then I said, okay, I have to start my life new here. That same thought that I'm going to be a big man. I'm going to make my life here in this very city, facing these very problems, solving all these things. And I started from there. So then, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm very curious to know, how did your family receive you back?
Yeah.
You know what, as you spoke, I was really visualizing everything. And now you stopped at a place where I want to know what was their reaction to.
Yeah. So my brother, he was really sad when I had, they were looking for me everywhere, right? Yeah. And they were like looking even they were checking the dead bodies and things like that, whether it is me, they were trying, because they thought that I'm dead. There was a little conversation that I had with my brother before going. That morning when I was leaving from there, I was trying to wake up my brother, and I was telling him, look at me, it's time for me to go. He thought I'm saying it's time for me to go to work, so just look at me. Or he was in half asleep. He said, okay, go. He didn't look at me. He didn't open his eyes. I just left. And he was feeling guilty that I had that last chance of seeing him, and I didn't see him. Then when he saw me again, he was so happy.
Oh my God. Yeah. So how was your entry to Dubai?
Actually, this was a very, dramatic thing. Like when
you've had Dubai a very dramatic, I would say, very filmy 20s, right? But I think all these incidents is what I think has shaped you a man that you are. I mean, that's clearly evident in your own boss channel as well. All the consistency, all those inspiration. I'm sure all these have taught you to overcome, I think, big things. And you feel that, okay, uploading an episode is not a big thing at all for me.
I don't feel like any problem is small or big. A challenge is a challenge. A problem is a problem. You have to, respect it for what it is, and you have to, deal with it. But yeah, the lesson that I've learned from all these incidents, right? First of all, I feel like it takes courage to realize that if you're doing a mistake, to realize that you're doing a mistake, and then go back and fix it. It's not easy to fix things.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. So, and then when later when this accident thing happened, I was like, I have seen worse things than this, right? So I have overcome those. Now I can overcome these as well. Yeah. So yeah, and then Dubai, it was like things were getting better and better and better, and I reached a point where it was through my job. I was working for a company in Mumbai, and that company had a position in Dubai, and then they said, would you like to come to Dubai?
Wow.
And I came to Dubai.
Yeah, it is another dream that's come true, right?
Yeah. Life changed. I'm telling you, Liny, the day when I flew out like from Mumbai, I was called to Belgium for a 2 weeks training before coming to Dubai. They said you have to come to
nice.
Belgium for a 2 weeks training, and I had not gone out of India at all. Okay, no international flights.
Yeah.
So first time, and I'm traveling first time in an international flight, direct flight from Mumbai to Brussels, business class. I'm like
Wow.
sitting in the flat bed.
The
I'm
very
like,
first,
very first
international
trip was
travel in business class.
business class.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I was thinking, oh wow, life is changing like really fast, And then that weekend, I was in Paris looking at Eiffel Tower, and I'm thinking like, wow, life.
So tell me, Sachin,
Yeah.
you've shared every thought of all those incidents that happened. What did you think standing in the airport?
I was thinking like, wow, this, life is changing, and I'm on that. I felt like I've shifted gear. You're driving, you're slow in the beginning, but then you shift gears to move to that. You keep going towards your goal. I was feeling like, yes, now I'm on a faster track.
Yeah.
I can move faster from here.
Yeah.
And yeah, God has been kind. I've kept moving from there.
I think God has been kind, but most importantly, you being my friend. Like, I think I've known you for 3 years, 4 years right now. You've always been very calm, and you've always been very kind, but you've always been very calm. You've taken different leadership roles in Toastmasters that I know. Now that I've heard your career life and all what you've gone through, how do you maintain, because what is really important is to have the presence of mind in any situation. And you are a very clear example to me, at least, I'm sure for the audience too, that if you have your presence of mind to be to whatever situation, anything is possible. How do you maintain, how do you manage it? How do you manage to be present in the situation? It's not easy.
It's not easy, true. And also, you have to be grounded and say, yes, look at the situation. Yes, there is a problem. Yes, we need to solve this, and then do the right thing. It's very easy to say do the right thing, okay? But then that thought process comes from years of feeding, okay? Feeding what? Feeding thoughts to yourself, thoughts to your mind about what kind of a person you are, identity. Giving somebody else an identity or giving yourself an identity is the key to shape someone's life or your own life. Right? This is the crux of leadership in a way. Think about it. The soldier who dies in the battlefield willingly but kills enemies before dying, and I've heard so many such war stories where the soldiers he's been hit and he tells his fellow soldier that don't worry about me, I'm gonna die anyways, you go and take my gun and go. Right? Where does he get that kind of a thought process, that kind of a mindset from?
Right.
He has been given the identity that you are a soldier fighting for your country. You're here to, even if you live even if you have to lay down your life, that's your that's the best death you can get, right?
Yeah.
So that identity is the one that shapes the mindset. How do you get that identity? By slowly feeding every instance, every situation. You face a problem, like waking up early in the morning. Right? You wake up every day at a certain time, then you become that, you have that identity that I'm a person who wakes up at morning. I'm like an early morning person. You get that identity.
Correct.
Once you have that identity, you will die for it.
Correct. Yeah, I know.
So consistently posting videos has become my identity now.
Right.
I will die for it.
I know. And I guess you've been, you've been a role model for all those podcasters out there who's starting. Either they are very experienced or they are starting, or you're inspiring someone to start. This is what everybody will keep in mind, that, you know what, consistency is the key, and I've learned it from Sachin. And Be Your Own Boss is the go-to podcast channel. Everybody would go to watch, and I'm sure about it, because for me, it's very difficult to stay consistent. You know, you might probably start with a lot of enthusiasm, but then I think, no, I've learned it from Sachin that, you know, consistency is key to success.
Yeah.
It's really great to know about that. And I'm actually very, very, very touched to know a lot of a part of your story, a part of your life that I guess nobody knows. I'm sure not many people knows about it. It's very inspirational.
Yeah, thanks
So-
for asking those and, you know, bringing the stories out from me.
Yeah, and it's been quite a, you know, what do you call, overwhelming for me to actually even listen to it. It's been an amazing story. So Sachin, you were saying that, you know, you need to be fed with the thought for the person that you are.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How did that happen with you?
Like, you know, for the body, right, we say that, you know, you have to be careful about what you feed to the body, right? So similarly for the mind, you have to be very careful about what you feed, what you tell yourself, the story, right? And there is this whole analogy of, you know, there is this good guy and a bad guy, and the one who wins is the one who you feed. So you feed the good guy. Now the question is, how do you feed the positive person in you? There is always an optimist in us, and that, like, how do you feed that person, and how do you keep him positive, keep yourself positive? I feel there are three things that play an important role in your life in terms of that feed. Number one is your friends, the people you choose to communicate with, and, you know, who you listen to and you get inspired by. Not just friends, like you can, you know, have historical figures who inspire you, and those things. Like, you know, for me, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is my inspiration. I get inspired from him for leadership, and Rajni sir is my inspiration, Rajnikant sir. So I get inspired by them, and a lot of such people. And then there are books. So books, I think, are an important part of one's life. You should,
Sure,
like,
definitely.
you know, read books. And I think for the audience also, I want to recommend certain books that these are life-changing books. First one is Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude by Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone. So this book is a life-changing book. It is like, you know, it shapes the positive mind in you. So that has played a big role in my life. And then about other genres, like, you know, finances, if you want to learn about that, like there is this Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But there is one book that was super inspirational, that was Run for Life. And this was about a runner, and like that story really inspired me. I think these kind of books are, you know, super inspirational. You get, like,
Inspirational.
yeah. And also movies. Movies inspire us a lot, right? Movies
Always.
impact us.
Impact.
Positively, negatively, depends on what you see.
I
You
know.
watch a horror movie, you will go home, you can't sleep.
You can't sleep. No, nowadays my kids watch all this YouTube, and they just walk and they get hit by a table. They're like, oh my god, you know, they're
Drama.
so dramatic. So obviously,
Yeah.
yes, movies.
So
does-
movies inspire you. If you pick movies that I want to, you know, say about like a genre of movie, like instead of, you know, just saying like this movie or that movie. First of all, the which one was that? Will Smith's movie, The Happiness.
The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, the Pursuit of Happiness. The
yeah.
Pursuit of Happiness is like the top inspirational movie.
Yeah.
Okay, DDLJ is a super inspiring movie for me.
Yeah,
It's a
very-
very romantic, very cheesy, but there is one super inspirational thing about that, and that kind of, because I could relate, because I'm the kind of person Raj is, where he's 100% optimistic right from the beginning, always, that this Simran is mine and I'm going to take her from here.
And who's the Simran in your life? Yeah.
So that you know, movie is very inspirational for me. And I think in general, sports movies. Watch sports movies, because every sports movie is super inspiring, because you always, like, you go through the low, the hero goes through the lows
Yeah.
and then the highs, and then you come out winning.
Yeah.
Those movies are like super inspirational.
Yeah.
So the point is that movies, books, friends, you keep feeding yourself positive thoughts, positive intakes. Watch podcasts.
Yeah.
Watch the Beer on Boss podcast.
Watch Be Your Own Boss podcast, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of good podcasters are there out there, you know, who interview people and bring out like inspiring stories.
Yeah.
So,
Who's
inspiration.
your, you know, what is that one podcast that you regularly watch and get inspired?
Oh, actually, there are many. Two top ones are Raj Shamani. I'm a huge fan of Raj Shamani. Raj, I hope you're watching this because this is like you are my guru.
Yeah.
And also Ranveer Alabadia,
Yeah.
the beer biceps. Ranveer and Raj, I learn from their shows a
Yeah.
lot. I keep watching them and
Yeah.
get inspired. Yeah.
Very nice. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the listeners as a final note, be it in terms of life, be in terms of recording podcast, whoever wants to start a podcast, that final bit that you would like to advise to the listeners?
I think one like final note could be about podcasting, because having done these 100 episodes, here's what I have learned about the world of podcasting, that if you want to be a podcaster, if you want to start something, you should have like an idea in mind, like a value that you want to add, right? That should be the starting point. In my case, the value that I wanted to add was to bring the real life entrepreneurship stories to the world, right? So like that, just start with that, and then you keep getting people, because you know who you want to do that for and what you want to do, and then the how, who you want to interview, all that will fall in place. Everything will come.
Yeah, true. And just stay optimistic and be consistent. I want to put you in that nervous point today.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you today, let me see how you're going to answer this. The date of your first upload on Be Your Own Boss podcast.
2nd of October 2022.
Wow, I had actually checked it. It's right. Okay, Ranveer or Raj? You said you like them both. So
The
Ranveer or
podcasters,
Raj?
right?
Yes.
Ranveer,
or
yeah.
Raj?
I think Raj Shamani.
Raj, you're listening, right? Okay, Amitabh or Rajni?
Both are great
No.
legends.
Only one. You can
I would go with Rajni sir.
You will go with Rajni, sir. Okay. Audio podcast or video podcast?
Video podcast.
Okay. Who's your favorite guest?
No,
Who's
Liny,
the favorite
Liny,
guest that you've called in your podcast?
You're so evil.
That's okay. I want to know. See how you feel with the guest. You ask the questions to the guest.
Well, actually, all interviews are great, but I think the one that I enjoyed doing was Vino Supraja, the fashion designer.
All right, I don't want to put you in trouble more. I think everybody's listening to this. So, okay, with that, I guess we are concluding this episode, the 100th milestone episode, me being the host of Be Your Own Boss podcast.
Liny, thank you so much for doing this. It was such a wonderful, experience sitting on the hot seat answering questions. It was amazing. Yeah.
I think it's the first time somebody else is hosting in Be Your Own Boss podcast, and I'm so glad that I got to take the hot seat today interviewing the one and only Sachin Acharya, who's the man behind Be Your Own Boss podcast. So guys, that's Sachin. The story of a man where every life event is a testament of perseverance and determination. Now, he is definitely a soul with a strong mind and solid decision-making skills, right? He's carved out a great story that continues to inspire all of us. So, I really hope you've enjoyed watching this episode as much as I enjoyed listening to him. Thank you.